Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio today, special guest Mike Tenay. And when you hear the voice, it might sound a bit familiar. If you've watched any wrestling in your day, you'll recognize the voice and the face. Wrestling, Mike Tenay, you've been an announcer for, we'll be talking about that in detail in another video about your wrestling career. And of course, these days they can hear you on the Professor Vegas podcast, a very good podcast that I've been on. We're also going to have a detailed video about that. But right now, we're going to put you to work with me. We're going to talk about 2 football games. You're going to get bonus this time on the video. We're going to have 2 best bets, one from me and Mike. And we'll start with mine, Mike. We're going to take a look at Sunday. We got the Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos. And how about the Broncos? 3-0 under Brock Osweiler. Did you see this coming with Manning going to the bench?
Well, I know that everybody was so excited about finally having this opportunity to see Brock Osweiler. Peyton Manning, who was the darling at the start of the season and has been for years in the past, all of a sudden sort of fell out of favor in Denver and with a lot of the national sports media. I have to admit, though, I haven't quite been as impressed with Brock Osweiler as everybody else has been in spite of the 3-0 record.
Well, again, a great way to set me up on that one because I'm going to talk about last week. These 2 teams' games last week. You had Denver win by 14 points. And you had Oakland lose by 14 points. So if we sit down and break down the stats, you're going to say, okay, well, Denver had a dominating performance and Oakland got run out of the building on their home field. But the stats in the game, Denver only outgained San Diego 293 to 272, yet had a 14-point lead. Win in Oakland, on the other hand, and unfortunately for me, I was on Oakland last week, so a little bit of sour grapes from me, Mike. They outgained Kansas City 361 to 232. They had some plays, it's the turnovers that turned into quick scores.
Had the lead.
Had the lead in the second half, and it was just, they were going up and down the field on them. So I'm not as impressed with what Denver did, and I think we're getting some value because of the hype, and I think Oakland's a little bit undervalued right now.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I think especially at 7 points, there's no way that I want to be laying 7 with Denver in this situation. And as much as I haven't been that impressed with Brock Osweiler, I certainly have been impressed with the way that Derek Carr has come into his own this year as the Oakland Raiders quarterback.
Yeah, he's definitely matured this year, and the future's bright for Oakland. The bad spot with Oakland is their secondary, gives up a lot of yardage. But as we said, looking at what they did last week, against the San Diego defense that has been getting torched all year, they only scored 17, and actually in 2 of his 3 starts, they scored 17. So not exactly putting up a lot of big numbers. I'm going to go ahead for my best bet this week, Mike. I'm going to take Oakland plus the 7. I actually see this one coming down as field goal either way. I'm going to take Oakland, but we're going to segue over to another bonus play. You've got to play this week. You like the Buffalo-Philadelphia game, and I know Scott was on this game earlier, and I want to hear some of the things you have to say. I think some of it will be the same, but that's what you got to do with handicapping when you find those angles there that the public's not looking at.
You know, if you watch SportsCenter, if you read the sports pages on Monday, headlines were that the Eagles stunned everybody by beating the Patriots. And they did. They won the game. But when you look a little bit closer into that game, you would see just how fortunate the Eagles were in the game. New England Patriots, in terms of offense, almost double the first downs, almost double the total yardage of Philadelphia. Philadelphia, as far as being fortunate in scoring the points that they did, they had a touchdown on a block punt. They had a touchdown on a punt return. They had a touchdown on a pick 6 as well. Could it have set up any better for them in that situation? I don't think so. So everybody all of a sudden thinks that Philadelphia, in spite of previously having the 3-game losing streak, has turned things around. I'm not so sure. I'm not convinced. I still think that Eagles defense, and I said this on my Professor Vegas podcast, they're either worn out or they've tapped out. And conversely, on the other side of the football, so impressed with Tyrod Taylor. Gives you a dual threat, able to run, able to pass. A lot of people look at Tyrod Taylor and think that he's a rookie. And he may be in terms of his starting experience as a quarterback. But when you think that for 4 years, he was the backup in Baltimore to Flacco. And here is a guy who, much like Carr, is really come into his own this year. You factor in Sammy Watkins at wide receiver. LaShawn McCoy at running back, and we know that LaShawn McCoy and Chip Kelly did not get along. Big heat on the end as McCoy went out of town. McCoy's gathered his teammates. He said, let's get this win for me. They're buying in as well. A couple other factors that I look at in this game. It's a home game for Philadelphia, but if the Eagles fall behind, we know those fans in Philadelphia, they're unforgiving.
They boo Santa Claus.
Right? And that home field advantage, it may turn into a disadvantage. And to me, the final piece of the puzzle really was the scheduling dynamic when I looked at it, and I saw that this sandwich game existed here for Philadelphia, where the previous week, high-profile game against New England, on deck, they've got the Arizona Cardinals. This, to me, is the perfect opportunity for the Buffalo Bills to come in. I'm going to lay the 1.
All right, there you go. Mike Tenay says to take Buffalo, lay the 1 point here. And guys, this weekend, head on over to WagerTalk. You can check out my 5% NFL Game of the Month. It goes on Sunday. As you know, those games come with a 200% guarantee. And if you want to save $10 on it, since we got Mike in studio, the coupon this week is Mike in the number 10. You can save $10 on any package this weekend at WagerTalk. We'll be back with more here at WagerTalk.com.